Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, and I'm so excited to paint with you today. We're going to do this really cute twilight moon with some trees and fireflies. Super cute. Get your supplies ready and let's dive in. Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. We're going to do a really quick and fun moon and tree scene and learn some fun color blending. So I'm going to use a large 1-inch flat brush first. I'm also going to be using a 1/2-inch flat and a number 4 round. I have my primary colors plus black and white using Liquitex Basics. We're going to take the big brush first and get it wet, and we're just going to practice our brush stroke with the water first, which is just a really nice side to side. Make sure you get a little bit of moisture on there. This will help your paint blend a little better. Now for blending with acrylics, I do recommend, just going for it, because the longer it takes you to blend, the harder it is for your paints to blend. It's just the nature of the medium. If you have too much water on your canvas, I do recommend wiping it a little bit, because sometimes too much water is hard to work with. All right. I'm going to go ahead and work from the top down. We're going to start with purple. So I'm going to use blue and red mixed together. And it's going to be kind of dark at first. And we're just going to go side to side at the top. Just for a little bit. And then I want to move into like a pink color or even a peach color. So we're going to go ahead and just do that. And then we're going to clean the brush. Give it a little bit of a clean. We're actually going to move into a different color here, but we want to add some purple at the bottom too before we stop with the purple. I just cleaned it because what happens is people will get a lot of dark purple and then it's hard for them to make a light purple. So what we're going to do is clean the brush, and then we're going to add white and red to the purple. This will help you make a very light purple. All right, now we got this light lavender color. Want a lot of white, very light. And we're going to go right under. Even more red and white is going to give you even a lighter color. And then we can take that right under the dark purple as well, just to give it a little bit of a fade out so that it's not too dark as we come down into the different colors. So notice I'm hitting the purple a little bit, giving it something to rub into. Still going to be wet, but see how it's lightened it a lot? Right. And then we can clean the brush. Helpful to clean the brush as you're moving into different colors, just so you get it, have a good handle on it. And then what I'm going to do is move into more of just a pink here. We're going to take just red and white, no blue. I'm going to go under here. Keep it nice and, right. You can touch the color before it, but don't get too crazy. Then as I pull down, I'm going to add just a little bit of yellow for this peachy color. A little bit of yellow, red, and white. Rub it into the pink a bit, and then pull it down. Then we're going to actually want to fade this into more of like a yellow kind of color, so less red, more yellow and white maybe as we pull down a bit. Don't go too far, because we still want to get some kind of blue tones in there. This is really not realistic at all. Maybe it's kind of like Aurora vibes in a way. So cleaning the brush, then I'm going to go into a turquoise color. So what I'm going to do is take blue, a touch of yellow, and white. And you can even add a little bit of water to it to make sure it blends really well. I'm heavy on the blue and the white, just a little bit of yellow because I want like a turquoise. That's going to go right in the middle. use a little extra white in between your yellow and turquoise. So see how I can pull a little extra white in there? It softens it between those two colors. Now, if you're not getting that, you can always clean your brush or just wipe it dry so where there's really not that much paint, and just use that clean, dry brush and rub it right in between the two colors, right on that yellow. And pull down. And then in here, I want to create almost like a blue violet. So we can clean the brush again. We're doing a lot of colors for this guy because everything else in this is really simple. The sky is kind of the most intricate part. I'm going to take the blue with a touch of red. So it's mostly blue with a touch of red. And this will give like a fun, deep blue color. We can also use a little bit of white to keep it kind of mellow. And then what I'm going to do is use a little extra white, especially as I get towards the turquoise. Rub it into the turquoise a bit. Now, if you are rubbing into the turquoise and you get any of that turquoise on your brush, you're going to want to clean it before we pull it down into the violet. And we're going to do that too, just to add some blending. So I'm clean the brush, dried it all the way. And then you can just take some of that pink or that light violet kind of color where it's like mostly red and white with maybe just a touch of blue, a lighter color in the mix here, and just rub in between those two colors to help with the blend. So easy. A lot of times people they either use too much paint all at once, or they go too slow, or they rub, like they don't rub it enough in between the colors. They don't let their colors touch and dance together. So you really need to go right in between the two different colors that you're transitioning from to create that transition. And I can even take some of that pink up here and like reestablish some of that transitioning, or you have maybe like more of a vibrant pink, however you want to play, but you can layer a little bit. Just make sure you get whatever colors you want to see, work it a bit, then let it go. But notice I have it pretty dark at the top. Maybe I want to make just a little more darkness. You can always add another coat, pull it down, and just make sure that you have enough of a dark sky blending out. Maybe about an inch or so. And I'm just using that 8x10 canvas. All right, so that's the kind of the hard part, so to speak. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create some stars. So we're going to use that round brush. And what you can do is just dip it in the white and go into, maybe we'll just go into some of our transition colors and add like a bunch of little dots in these spots. So see how we can just sort of add lots of fun little dots like right in this blue violet color. And especially at the top. Again, this painting is really kind of abstract going around. We want to add a fun moon though. I'm doing some manual stars just to show you, and we can always come back and add more, but we also want to add a little moon shape. So I'm going to use just a regular size can, and I'm going to go right in kind of the middle top section, and we're going to put a crescent moon. I'm going to just go around the edges and paint. There we go. And then I can just fill it in a bit on the left edge. We're just rubbing. We'll do a couple layers. See how I can just tap the brush? It almost creates like a moon crater effect, but we'll add some more layers. And then you can, I might just make it into a full moon. You could do crescent or full, up to you. And I'm just coloring it in, not all the way, but mostly with white. And to make some parts brighter, just do a second coat. So you can wait a bit and come and do that whenever, or if it's drying quickly, then you can just do it right away. It's totally up to you. Anytime. But we do want to make some moon shadows, which we could use some of that purple. So let's do that now. Blue and red. And a little bit of white. And then just kind of come in and add some little dabs of purple. And then if it's too harsh, add more white. This will give the look of the moon craters. You don't have to do this, but it's kind of fun to have a few shades for your moon. And you can even use some finger painting. Maybe I want to use some blue for the moon. You can just dab, rub the finger or tap the finger, and that'll give you some more moon crater stuff. It can go, that can go on and on. I really like doing it. And just mix, say you want some purple or blue or even pink or just whatever. Do a few different colors. And then again, if it gets a little too crazy, just come back with some white. So play around a bit. And if you feel that you're starting to overwork it, just stop and come back to it. So there's no pressure to get it exactly the way you want it right at this second. Now I'm also going to show you how to do some splatter paint. So we're going to do some stars with splatter paint. We already did some by poking, but the splatter paint is really fun. So we're going to take the medium square brush, get it wet, and then dilute some of your white paint. So I just typically just do it this way, add a bunch of water to some of your white paint until it's kind of runny, and then scoop it up on your brush, and then just flick it on by holding the brush steady, but pulling the bristles back with your finger. Now, if it doesn't spread apart enough, just add a little more water. And this gives some very natural, like, splatter paint stars. And then you can always go back and touch up the moon with some more white. And then you can also just add some more stars with white. So play around. I would play around for just a little bit using a few different techniques, using the finger paint for the moon or the brush, and then using splatter paint for the stars or the brush. So you can kind of, dance between different ideas. And then we're going to add some trees. So around this. So it's really simple. Don't want to make it too crazy. But I'm going to clean the round brush and the medium square brush. because we're going to be doing this with these things. And I'm going to do what I like to do is make like a blue and red, purple, dark purple. And we're going to do a layer of trees. So I'm just going to go underneath and make like a little, it's like kind of wiggly line here. And then we can go ahead and add some trees, just some vertical lines like so. Very simple. So do some vertical, vertical, vertical. And then we can tap the corner and tap harder as you come down. And you're going to get some pine trees. And you can do some just little vertical flicks. Maybe this looks like some really distant trees without having to like actually tap them in. So you can do this, like draw a line and tap, or you can just pull some vertical brush strokes like that very lightly, and it'll create the look of some trees there. Whatever feels fun for you. I like to do a little bit of both. And then we're going to add some black to this and just go in. We're going to darken this all up. I'm just filling in the bottom. And then we're going to add some trees going up on the edges of the moon. So let's just pull and wiggle. And it doesn't have to be too straight or too wiggly, just, mild, very mild. Thick, maybe a little thicker at the bottom and then a little thinner as you go up. We'll do another one. Maybe this one's a little thinner. We'll do another one on this side, but this one's a little thinner. So just play, doing two on either side. And then we can, once we get those bigger tree trunk bases in with the edge of that medium brush, because it's just going to help you get those in there a little easier than the small brush, because you're doing such a long, thick line. Then you can go in with the small round brush and begin to add the branches. So again, you can mix a little blue and black together or just use pure black, whatever you want. It's going to come across as really dark. And then we're going to pull kind of in a diagonal up towards the top of the canvas, making little Y-shaped patterns for these trees. And the Y-shaped pattern means, like, just notice how that looks like a little Y coming out, but it's wiggly. So it's not like a literal Y, but it has a Y shape, the idea of a Y. So pull out and then pull another little line out of that. And then you can even put an even little tinier Y out of the tip of the Y. So that's all that means. And like the lighter we press, the smaller those lines are going to look. And even dip the brush in the water and add a little water to your black to help it go on a little smoother. So that would be really akin to like Bob Ross doing his paint thinner for his thin branches. Let there be little happy accidents and stuff, because trees are going to grow randomly, kind of. So, just got to let it Let it be kind of crazy, and that's all right. Here we go. I'm just going up and over however much you want to add. I'm just barely touching. Just zone out on this for a second. Have some little intricate things kind of playing into the middle here to give it some interest. You can even have some like little grass pulling up at the bottom if you want to give more texture down here, just little flicks coming up. And then we can just go back in and add some more little fun dots. So maybe we have some more dots down on top of the black here. It's like a firefly kind of situation. I'm just going to add a few down below. And try to make them different sizes. Like I always give people the rule of three, 3 different sizes is good. But notice how we have like the trees filled in pretty good. Then we're just adding some dots at the bottom. We'll add some maybe a little bit more highlights to the trees and then let it go. And then maybe we get like a light blue highlight on the trees. So just mix a little blue and white, and you can add a little highlight to the side that's the closest to the moon. You don't have to. But just do a touch. You don't want to go too crazy. And if it does get too much, just add more black. You can even add some little blue dots down below. And what I like to do is some like little orb type things. So maybe even use some like yellow and white with a touch of blue. It looks kind of turquoise. Then you can just choose a few little dots to make a dot and then rub until it looks like a faded little circle. So put a dot and then rub, smudge it out. Do it a couple times. Do it a few. And those should look kind of glowy. And then you can just add a pure white dot to the center of that. And it kind of looks like a glowing, makes it look glowing. Like the dot looks glowing instead of just plain. You can do that. Like maybe what some of your dots got kind of weird. Just you can turn them into these little things. And if you don't like some of your dots, just clean your brush and come to the black and be like, all right, we're going to erase a few of these. Maybe you got too many, or they just got like the shape looks weird and you don't like it. Paint over them. So don't stress. I do that a lot. Sometimes I'll get a little wild and then I'll be like, wow, a lot of those they didn't pan out. They didn't look how I wanted. So I'll just go in and fine tune it a little bit. But that's it. I'm going to let it go. And this is kind of like a firefly, full moon, twilight kind of thing. Super fun. So hope you had a good time painting along, and make sure to leave a comment and let me know what you did and how it went for you. And I hope you paint with me again soon. And thanks so much for watching. Bye.